श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादिशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय राधा माधव राधे राधे जय राधा गोविंद राधे राधे जय राधा गिरिधारी श्री राधे जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे राधे जय राधा गोपीनाथ श्री राधे जय राधे 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 श्री राधे जय राधे जय राधे राधे जय श्री राधे जय प्रभुपाद जय गुरुदेव निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल श्री नाम संकीर्तन की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद श्रील गुरुदेव की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि बोल। नाना शास्त्र विचार नैक निपुणौ धर्म संस्थापकौ लोकानां हितकारिणौ त्रिभुवने मान्यौ शरण्याकरौ राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्द भजना नन्देन मट्टालिकौ वन्दे रूप सनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीव गोपालकौ वन्दे रूप सनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीव गोपालकौ वन्दे रूप सनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीव गोपालकौ। श्री शुद्ध गोस्वामी वृंदावन की जय। भक्ति रसामृत
हरे कृष्णा प्रेमदत्त प्रभु, दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्णा माता जी।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु।
Hare Krishna. Sorry, I got
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I'm welcoming His Grace Primadatta Gaur Prabhu by loudly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Prabhu, over to you. Dhanavad pranams. Today we are starting chapter number 15 of Nectar Devotion. We thank all the participants, welcome all of you for today's Nectar Devotion session. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hope your health is better now, Prabhu. You okay now?
It's okay, Mataji. Not really so well, but fever is not there. But my chest is completely gone, and my throat. But it's okay. It's okay. Thank you for asking. Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Yashodanandan Braj Jana Ranjan Yashodanandan Braj Jana Ranjan Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Ras Bihari Radha Ras Bihari Radhe Jaya Radha Govind Radha Govind Radhe Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jayo Radhe Jayo Shri Radhe Jayo Radhe Jayo Radhe Jayo Radhe Jayo Shri Radhe 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 Govind 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 राधे 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 गोविंद राधे गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो राधा रमण हरि गोविंद बोलो राधा रमण हरि गोविंद बोलो जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ स्वामी जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव सुभद्रा माई जय सुदर्शना जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी नयन पथगामी बाबा तुम्हें जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी नयन पथगामी बाबा तुम्हें जय नृसिंहदेव नृसिंहदेव नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय भक्त प्रहलाद महाराज जय भक्त प्रहलाद जय गौरनिताय 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 जय गौरनिताय निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददति स पदन्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरु वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सागना रघुनाथं वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान् ललिता श्रीवासुशाखाविन्दं हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीन बंधो जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरांगी राधे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी कृष्ण भानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे राम राम हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणम् तवैर्मन कृष्ण पदरविन्दयोः सवैर्मनः कृष्ण पदरविन्दयोः। श्रीमती राधा रानी की जय। शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। हरि बोल। Hare Krishna. Today we are going to read Spontaneous Devotional Service, Chapter 15, first 11 paragraphs. And if any Mataji wants to, or Prabhuji wants to do the service of sharing, I will ask you to read. It's quite, it's actually today's session or today's part of the NOD is something which we can just know theoretically, but practically, it is only possible. Somebody can share the screen if you want, and you can practically experience this in your journey towards Krishna when we reach spiritual world. So whatever I'm going to cover in is not even theoretically going to be very deep, because this subject matter, some subject matters are better to be experienced than to be explained. But since Srila Prabhupada took that honor of writing these books for us, and he was a very empowered soul, and so our Rup Goswamis, the Shad Goswamis, including Rup Goswamis, we are fortunate to read it as a theoretical subject. So, spontaneous devotional service. And so let me start this class with the point, what is bhakti? Then we'll talk about a devotional service. In Hindi is known as bhakti, right? A service devotionally done to some higher purpose. In this highest purpose is serving the God who is the creator. He has created so many things, and you can do service to so many things. You can do service to your family where you are born. You can do service to the city as a city mayor. You can serve the city, and to the state, and to the language, what you have received it as you call it, as a mother language. You can serve that state, and also you can serve the country, whichever country you are born, and you can serve the Mother Earth, which is having all these countries, and then you can serve the Father Sky, which hosts so many planets, and so you can, like this, worship the entire universe, and so as so many universes. And then you can worship Mahavishnu, who is giving these universes in his exhale, and in his inhale, he takes them back. Then you can worship the primal Lord Vishnu and all his plenary proportions, Shankarshna, Adrum, Niruddha, Pradyumna. And then you can worship the real three aspects of Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is Sat Chit Ananda. And that's where, when the service is devoted directly to the three forms of personalities of Godhead, which is Sat Chit and Ananda, which is Lord Balrama. When we look towards the left, and Ananda, which is towards the right, and in middle is Chit, conscious of both eternity and Ananda, which is Radharani. That personality, Supreme Krishna, we call it as. When that service directly, indirectly reaches to him, but your intent is to reach it directly, means you serve the devotees of the Lord or anything, you know finally it will go to Krishna, then it is indirectly, directly. Or I would say it's a direct service, indirectly performed. But since you know it, that this ultimate beneficiary, Bhoktaram Yagyatapas, Krishna is the ultimate Bhokta, ultimate experience of my service. That is called bhakti. And it is that service which is based on love. I'm not saying pure love. It's love. It has nothing impure or impure. It's love, simple love, which is in spiritual world. It's just love. It has no categories. Then that bhakti is called as Nitya Siddha Bhava. Because we are all part and parcels of the Lord, Brahmavamsha. And in the spiritual world, we are serving Lord in 5 ways or relationships or bhavas. Introduction of Bhagavad Gita, we can go more detail. And it is expected that since this ICF group is, all devotees have already reached to the stage of NOD, Nectar of Devotions book, which is Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It is understood that we all understand what are these relationships. So no need for us to go in detail about these 5 relationships. So when we are in the spiritual world, our bhava is constant towards the Lord, which is Nitya. And we have, by birth, perfected this art because we are in spiritual world. So we are called as Siddhas. And some of the souls, they exhibit this and they continuously perform this bhava. Those souls who are consistently perfecting the art of showing that bhava towards the Lord, which is constant among those 5 relationships, and they don't refer to something else, they stick to that, then that is called as bhakti. But we are not currently in that situation. It is, although the duty of our life is to love Krishna, and as long as that love brings that manifestation of a bhava, which is good, and that bhava constantly, Krishna also shows a constant bhava to us. So till that time, everything goes very well. He is constant, kevalabhyam, one without second. But we are not capable. Somewhere, this bhava, it manifests with a lot of intensity, but our intensity sometimes douses off, goes off. And if I speak from the stage where I am a Baddha Jiva. And the subject what we are today discussing, or every day discussing, is about bhakti, which does not know any foundation. So the whole process of this Krishna consciousness is to revive that consistency in our bhava and defy our baddha aspect, which is the stuck aspect. Baddha jiva means bounded nature. Actually, we are all have a nature, we don't like to be bounded. But in our current stage, we are bounded by material senses. And so, despite we do so much effort in bhakti, example, we go to temple for 4 hours, 5 hours on the Sunday, we really are operating as if there is no foundation to us. But you will see that the moment we return home and our homely bounded activities, somewhere you feel if somebody calls you to temple and temple activities once, twice, and then you get a chance, come in early in the 7 o'clock in the morning. You say, no, I have to leave my son to a school. Now that is a foundation. Although we are in such a stage that we give excuses materially, that Prabhuji, Mataji, I have to do balancing. Actually, in bhakti, and when we are doing this part of the NOD, spontaneous, what does it mean? It should not stop. And it should come swataha, automatically. And there should be no foundations to that love to God. We are very fortunate that when we serve a temple, Krishna is so fortunate that he has created the temple also in the material world. So the temple administration also has their limitations, that they cannot just run the temple only special places like Tirupati. We have temples running throughout. But otherwise, you have to follow the social chart. You have to close the temples on time. And you have to audit the temples. So foundation is on even on following the rules of land and country for a temple. So that is Krishna's mercy to us, so that we also get some chance to take a break and take care of our own selves. Because if the congregation is not able to take care of its own self, how are the temples going to run? If the grihasthas don't earn money and don't donate, then full-time devoted souls in the temple either have to run temples like factory places to run some and sell some products. Maybe spiritual, but how much? So that's how Krishna's mercy is. So Krishna knows it's difficult to exhibit the Nitya Siddha Bhava for these devotees. So he segregates this bhakti, which is based on love, as several categories. So I would request somebody to read the first paragraph, and then I will further. Oh,
Hare
may I
Krishna,
read?
Prabhuji.
I hope nobody was sleeping.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, may I read?
Yes, please read.
Chapter 15, Spontaneous Devotional Service. Examples of spontaneous devotional service can easily be seen in Krishna's direct associates in Vrindavana. The spontaneous dealings of the residents of Vrindavana in relationship with Krishna are called Raganuga. These beings don't have to learn anything about devotional service. They are already perfect in all regulative principles and have achieved the spontaneous loving service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For example, the cowherd boys who are playing with Krishna do not have to learn by austerities or penances or yogic practice how to play with him. They have passed all tests of regulative principles in their previous lives, and as a result, they are now elevated to the position of direct association with Krishna as his dear friends. Their spontaneous attitude is called Raganuga Bhakti. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Bol. So, I'll take you to one shloka. And now we have understood what is bhakti. Bhakti, that activity which is simple based on love to Krishna, which we exhibit in spiritual world. But since we are in the material world and lot of restraints are there in the form of a human body, and our bhava is not remaining constant. So the categories of achieving that normal bhakti, we have to undergo some steps. So they say, sabhakti sadhana bhaktir bhava bhakti, prema bhaktir tri iti trividha, sadhana bhakti punarvaidi, raganugda bhedena dividha. So bhakti, which is shrestha, uttam, topmost, basically is divided into three categories based on the journey of a soul to revive its siddha swarupa. So we already had perfected the art. We are already perfected in our art, but somewhere the intensity reduces in the form of, maybe in the form of whatever you say, enviousness. What was the reason why we come down? So to revive that, Srila Prabhupada, whenever such questions used to come, he used to direct and say that just be in that sadhana. If you notice, you discuss with any senior devotee, at least if he's serving in the temple and managing in the temple. In my 20 plus years experience in ISKCON with direct association of devotees, I have rarely come across a point when people really discuss about these things. It's not that they don't want to discuss. It's that because the moment if you don't understand, it becomes esoteric. You feel you will stop serving. So the seniors, whenever you ask questions to them, they will always say, just stick to Mangalarti, coming to the temple, associate with devotees, do your chanting, do your rounds, do little sadhana, meet devotees, and rest you time to take care of your family. So we, in fact, so many devotees have passed away in front of me. And with some of them I knew so well, but we never discussed such subjects. And sometimes I feel why? Is because you never get time. You just continue serving Krishna in the temple. And there is no proper measurement to say that, oh, I dip it in my mouth like thermometer and my temperature comes out. Really, one cannot really make an instrument to measure. It's just that when we begin, we try associating with the devotees, so we start wearing kanti mala. That's our first measurement. And we wear tilaka. Then we start removing onion and garlic from our diet. And then slowly we remove tea, coffee also from our diet, cold drinks from our diet. And then slowly, to a greater extent, we try to remove unoffered food also from our life, depending upon time, place, circumstances. And that's how, when you see somebody following these principles, you feel he's doing a proper bhakti. But that's all external. Internal, how we develop relationships with others, how we behave and talk to them, that works internally. So this bhakti, which should be uttama, should be shrestha, starts with a very boundary, which is known as the sadhana bhakti, or Vaidhi Bhakti. Then that sadhana bhakti, if you deliberate further, basically is a bhakti which you do under the instructions of a spiritual master, under some guidance. And it primarily forces you to follow a path voluntarily. And you do it as a atonement, paschata, as a sacrifice. Nobody likes to wake up early in the morning on a foggy winter, but you have to. I am so sick, but still I took a bath and everything, and I'm still coming because it's very easy for me to send a message to Mataji and say, arrange somebody else. But it's difficult to continue tolerating the difficulties of your body, because I have given some classes where I was perfectly physically fine. So why can't I give a class when I'm not physically fine? It's very easy to say, I have a headache, I can't give a class. And then I relax and watch television. So this stage of bhakti, where we are in a struggle to maintain our sadhana under the instructions of a spiritual master, we get initiated first and then second. And we follow a discipline in life, is known as sadhana. So sadhana bhakti should make our heart softer. Of course, we should treat ourselves with a lot of strength and thunderbolt. But with others, sadhana bhakti, you should be a little soft. So this sadhana bhakti has a purpose, so that our heart is purified. And that stage is known as sadhyata. Our heart experiences, after doing this sadhana, it experiences a purification. And for this, there is a pursuit. Somebody said, you take initiation, you should be able to give classes in ISKCON, right? So that's my pursuit. I want to glorify Krishna. But somebody said, if you want to be in ISKCON temples, and ISKCON is not like, ISKCON is finally coming from Krishna's heart. So they say that you want to give class, get initiated. But initiation means you have to take shiksha levels. So you start working for those shiksha levels, you take those pains. In the process, you see that your heart is getting purified. And that's that purification within the heart, that sadhyata comes in your heart because of sadhana. And then you attain your desired result. That I wanted to give a class. I want people to associate with me with an initiated name. I was Pratik, but I became Premadata. Somebody I knew as Shravan, he became Shivatma, Govind, like that. Somebody I know as Ishvara, he became Ishvara Hari. You see that? So that's the initial aspect of sadhana bhakti. But that has to be done under the observance of senior Vaishnavas and spiritual master. And so the sadhana bhakti, it actually helps you to go to more higher stages of bhakti, which helps you to revive your bhava. Of course, we cannot do all the stages of bhakti today because we have to go back and read the purports. And this cannot be just handled in 1 hour. And so you move towards the bhava bhakti. And then you reach a stage of a prema bhakti, where you can exhibit love, simple prema. There is no addition and subtraction to love. No super love, under love, most love, better love. It's love. So, sadhana bhakti, in fact, we can go ahead and read. Then I can come back again.
Can I
Okay.
read?
Yes, go ahead. Read the next
Okay.
two paragraphs quickly.
Shri Rupa Goswami has defined Raganuga Bhakti as spontaneous attraction for something while completely absorbed in thoughts of it, with an intense desire of love. Uh, Devotional service executed with such feelings of spontaneous love is called Raganuga Bhakti. Devotional service under the heading of Raganuga can be further divided into two categories. One category is called sensual attraction and the other is called relationship. In this connection, there is a statement by Narad Muni to Yudhishthir in the 7th canto, 1st chapter, verse 30 of the Srimad Bhagavatam. There Narada says, "My dear king, there are many devotees who first became attracted to the personality of Godhead for purposes of sense gratification, from being envious of him, out of fear of him, or from desiring to associate affectionately with him. Ultimately, these attractions became freed from all material contamination, and gradually the worshipper develops spiritual love and achieves the ultimate goal of life desired by the pure devotee." Hare Krishna. Pranam.
Okay. So, it is said that sadhana bhakti basically is, and sadhana bhakti actually consists of the sadhana as per some vidhi, right, which is coming from scriptures, which is known as vaidhi. And the second portion of sadhana bhakti, a little more deeper, is that when you have attained the sadhana perfection little bit, and you develop some, so the love of Krishna within a soul is constant all the time, because we are his part and parcel. But like a coal burning over a period of time, there is an ash which forms on the top of a coal. So if you fan the coal and the ash moves off, then the brightness comes back. So that's the stage. Fanning is known as vaidhi, means the scriptures say fan yourself. Wake up early in the morning, do mangalarti, do chanting. So this all process is sadhana based. We are already in love of Krishna, but still because we are bodily engaged and this body has its certain demands, that causes some slower speed of achieving Krishna, right? Or expressing to Krishna, like Krishna is in front of us and he says, let's go and play in Vrindavan. And you say, bhook lagi, right? Very simple. Oh, Krishna, I'll come. Just give me a few minutes. I have to drop my son to school. So, or Krishna, I want to visit a restroom. Give me a few seconds. So what is this? Bodily demands. Krishna is calling you, but still you are not able to fully go. Rupa Goswami is saying, give your 50% or 25% of your wealth, but how many people of us are able to give 25% or 50% of the wealth? None of us. At least me, I can talk about myself. But then when I was discussing with some sincere, serious devotee, and senior devotee, not serious, senior devotee, he said, why you worry that you are not able to give 50% of your wealth? Do you have so much of wealth? I said, Okay. But if you give, will you be able to survive? I said, no. I'll be dependent on temple. Now that's a different thing. You start analyzing where all I have made a investment, thinking that it will give me something, and I want to live in a bigger house, so I go for EMI. So these are different situations we develop. But whatever it is, we take, because we are in society, we take certain steps. But those certain steps, we have to devote some time towards those steps. And so our spontaneity, the spontaneous service towards the Lord, naturally gets disrupted. On top of that, expectation is to develop love for God, which is raganuga. Raganuga means, raga means love, means affection, and, and spontaneous affection. That's what the chapter name is. So expectation is to reach to a stage beyond our bodily capabilities and bodily responsibilities to achieve that stage. So to cut across this, certain disciplines are made in the form of sadhana bhakti, Vaidhi bhakti. In that, the whole association of devotees, so everybody takes care of small portion of a temple, and the small portion. Wife, sometimes you do aarti, sometimes wife does aarti. Or morning, Prabhu does the aarti, in evening, Mataji does the aarti. Or Prabhus are not, I mean, they're good in decorating, but generally Matajis are very good in decorating deities. They just know it. Spontaneously, I've seen Matajis. They're so good in dressing the Lord. They just come spontaneously with Matajis. I've specially observed. So most of the temples, deity dressing comes spontaneously to Matajis. So like this, we divide services. And we divide the services in the form of sadhana to develop raga. So that raganuga, based on that raga, we do further service. And then based on that love, we do further service. So here, if you notice, they are saying that in the raganuga service also, where we are developing love towards God, it gets divided into attraction based on the senses itself. And the other is called relationship. So, Rupa Goswami is writing here that spontaneous attraction for Krishna, when you are completely absorbed in him with an intense desire of love. He's not saying pure love, impure love. He's just saying love. So, it gives us such a beautiful feeling that even if you are incapable to experience Krishna's love completely at this stage, because we are under sadhana bhakti, Krishna is so merciful that you are able to give him 10% of your love in sadhana bhakti. Krishna considers that 10% as 100%. And he's satisfied by that. Like, for example, all of us today here, none of us is completely dedicated to Krishna. At least I am now. If somebody is completely dedicated to Krishna, wonderful. But all his activities are completely for Krishna. I think only brahmacharis can physically say. I've seen humbleness of brahmacharis. They say we are physically in Krishna's temple throughout for so many years, but mentally we may be outside. They can physically at least claim, but we grihastas have to convert our bodily activities as activities for Krishna. That is process of conversion of our personal activities. The conversion of our personal activities for Krishna requires an effort. That effort is known as sadhana. Like you have to wake up early to prepare tiffin for your child. At the same time, you use that waking up early to also prepare some sweet for the Lord in the morning for the Mangalarti. You see how you are putting your efforts in sadhana bhakti. So that day when your son is not waking up early, you still wake up early and make sweet for the Lord. That means you love so much to the Lord. This is the conversion of the sadhana bhakti towards the raganuga. Means it's a one higher, or you can say another deeper. The sadhana bhakti then moves into raganuga. So most of our life in this world will remain between these two. Practically, you really, if we perfect this art of sadhana bhakti itself, and we tolerate about others' behavior, and then we do the sadhana bhakti because we have raga for Krishna, we have love for Krishna. In this stage itself, we will attain the perfection for this stage. That is what is expected to us, as expected about us. So you may hear they say that it can be divided into sensual attraction. I can give you an example in Vrindavan. If you notice, an old lady by name Kubja was there. So she also saw Krishna and she got attracted to Krishna. Krishna keeps his feet on her breast, and her haunch. Before she's old, he puts the feet, and she bows down in front of Krishna, and her haunch is improved, and then she gets a very beautiful body. And the moment she gets a beautiful body, she gets attracted sensually to Krishna. But Krishna satisfies her desire by removing this lust, or whatever you say, the sensual attraction. And he keeps the feet on her breast, and then she's relieved of that sensual attraction towards Krishna. So like this, it can happen that you may get sensually in your bhakti, you may have that sensual. And then you have to develop a relationship. So you take more higher. It's not just that you love it's not just that you love Krishna because he looks beautiful. Because you love Krishna because you know he's serving you so many places. So you want to reciprocate back to Krishna, not just because he looks beautiful, but also because you want to serve him as a servitor. So we have to focus on the servant aspect in our current stage under the sadhana bhakti and continue serving Krishna in a best way. So can we have other devotees leave one or two paragraphs and read maybe, let's read from the attraction of gopis for Krishna.
In Brahma Samhita 1 verses there, Yam Krodha Kama Sahaja Pranayate Bhiti, that verse gives us this means how we get those bodies in the spiritual world. Yam Krodha Kama Sahaja Pranayate Bhiti Vatsalya Moha Guru Gaura Seve Bhavai Sanchinta Tasya Sadrishim. Correct?
Sorry, you are reading, you're asking, sorry,
Yes, I'm asking you, that is the Brahma Samhita 55th verse. Yam Krodha Kama Sahaja Pranayadi Bhiti Vatsalya Moha Guru Gaurava Seva Bhavai Sanchinta Tasya Sadrishim Tanuma Purete Govinda Madhi Purusham Tamham Bhajami. So that verse talks about spontaneous love, that is Raganuga Bhakti.
Can you put it on the screen? Can you share it? I have to just, because I'm not able to hear it completely. I need to read and then explain you.
It is like by heart, that verse is by heart. It is Yam Krodha Kama Sahaja Pranayadi Bhiti Vatsalya Moha Guru Gaurava Sevya Bhavai.
Sorry, Prabhu. Danat Pranam, Hare Krishna. So actually the time is 12 o'clock. So I would request Prabhu, you can put your question in the WhatsApp group. then I can share it with Prabhu, and then Prabhu can take it. Is it okay?
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
better we can
Thank you.
complete the course. Yes, Prabhu.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
I mean, that can be very well taken. But I have to then relate it to what I'm saying. I have to read it, and then we have to, discuss that. So Mataji is right. I have to then, instead of following the course, we have to follow the, your portion. And then since you have memorized it and you know it, we will have a connection to it. In Krishna consciousness, everything can be connected if you know the basics. All right. So somebody can read those paragraphs.
Can I, Babaji?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
The attraction of the gopis for Krishna and the affection of the members of the Yadu dynasty are both accepted as spontaneous or raganuga. The attraction of Kamsa to Krishna in fear and the attraction of Susupala in envy are not accepted as devotional service. However, because their attitudes are not favorable, devotional service should be executed only in a favorable frame of mind. Therefore, according to Srila Rupa Goswami, such attractions are not considered to be in devotional service. Again, he analyzes the affection of the Yadus. If it is on the platform of friendship, then it is spontaneous love. But if it is on the platform of regulative principle, then it is not. And only when affection comes to the platform of spontaneous love is to counted in the category of pure devotional service. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for the understanding.
So this is exactly
Can I
what.
continue?
Yeah, you can. But I just make a one point here because this is what we were exactly discussing, right? Practically, you see, I'm noticing my own life in ISKCON. We generally don't talk about Prabhuji, how do I generate love for Krishna? Nobody answers you these questions. Nobody answers you these questions. I think probably the reason behind is because we are engaged in a material body. And how much time you get to discuss with people? How much time you spend discussing with people in the temple about these things. They will talk about some service in the temple. Prabhu, electric bill has to be filled. Prabhu, generate some Lakshmi in the temple. So Krishna has created this material world so difficult, that you really, it's very easy to do the sadhana service than to really go into, a level where you think you can cross the boundaries and then develop love for. You cannot think that I'm developing love for Krishna. It doesn't give you so much space. You see it. If your health is good, you can think about Krishna. If your health is gone, you just be doing rounds towards a hospital. Your hand is trembling, you can't even chant. So we are in a very, very difficult stage. And that is why it says here, right? That such attractions in devotional service have no value. I mean, they're giving examples. Kamsa to Krishna in fear, attraction of Shishupala in enviness are not accepted as devotions. We are not supposed to get into that, discussions, oh, I am developing love for Krishna. We don't say it. We just experience it. And the only thing what strikes us is we have to have a good frame of mind. And the frame of mind of being a servant is the best frame of mind. Right? And, and if that servitorship, he says, again, he analyzes the affections of Yadus. So in the Yadava clan also, there were more friendship kind of things, right? But where are we? We are not even in the friendship level with Krishna, right? And we are discussing about highest topics of bhava and then prema bhakti. It's not technically possible. It's like we are talking about the sky on the basement of a building. But we have to take a lift and go one by one floor up and be there, and then we go into the sky. Maybe some helicopter comes and lifts us to the sky that shows us the clouds and everything, or we go 30,000 high to see the beauty of the sky. So practically we are in a very, very, very stage where we just have very little room to understand other than sadhana bhakti. So can somebody just leave one paragraph, or maybe quickly somebody can read who has a quick reading so that we can save time? and continue reading. It's all descriptive. I have just given you an essence of what actually is talk about. But somebody can read.
Shobha Mataji, go ahead.
Yes, read.
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna, Dhanavad Pranam Mataji. There may be some difficulty in understanding that both the gopis and Kamsa achieve the same goal. So this point should be clearly understood because the attitudes of Kamsa and Sishubala were different from that of gopis. Although in all these cases the focus is on the Supreme Personality of Godhead and all of these devotees are elevated to the spiritual world, there is still a distinction between these two classes of souls. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that the absolute truth is one and that he is manifested as impersonal Brahman, Paramatma, Supersoul, and Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here is a simple distinction. Although Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan are the same and one absolute truth, devotees like Kamsa and Sishubala could attain only to the Brahman effulgence. They could not have realization of Paramatma or Bhagavan. That is the distinction. Haribol, thank you, Prabhuji, thank you, Mataji.
Then you can leave one paragraph and read the another one.
From Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, may I, Prabhu?
Yeah, Srila Rupa Goswami is trying to describe. Yes, yes.
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Srila Rupa Goswami is trying here to describe the different achievements of the impersonalists and the personalists. Generally, those who are impersonalists and are inimical to the Supreme Personality of Godhead get entrance into the impersonal Brahman. When and if they reach spiritual perfection, the impersonalist philosophers are in one sense like the enemies of the Lord, because the out and out enemies of the Lord and the impersonalists are both allowed to enter only into the impersonal effulgence of the Brahma Jyotir. So it is to be understood that there are of similar classification. Hare Krishna. It is to be understood that there. It's gone, Prabhuji.
Sorry, Mataji, there was some error. I'll just get back to you again. Just a minute.
Hare Krishna.
So it is to be understood that they are of similar classification. Actually, the impersonalists are enemies of God because they cannot tolerate unparalleled opulence of the Lord. They try always to place themselves on the same level with the Lord, and that is due to their envious attitude. And this is one reason why, if you notice, we all sadhakas, we don't generally try to, sahaja bhav, right? I mean, thinking that, oh, I am like Krishna only, my son is Krishna. We don't generally say that. Although those people who are not from ISKCON trained, I'm telling you, they say, if I become so good, you are like Krishna. You are like Krishna. You are Krishna. Sometimes they get into that feeling. But as a sadhaka, we know there's a huge difference between us and the God, right? And most of the times, we people in this phase of, in this stage of Kali Yuga and in this life, it's easy to get into immediately into start underestimating Krishna, right? And then we start comparing ourselves with Krishna. Krishna is so beautiful. Why am I not? Like that, these things. So all this has to be removed. And personalism is our only goal of life, right? Krishna is a person. And here they're talking about impersonalist. I'll just conclude because I think I've already gone ahead of 1 hour. I don't know how much time I have. Is there a class after this also from Mataji? I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu, we can go up to 12:15 Prabhu. We have another 10 minutes.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Generally in Bhagavatam, you get a feeling. So I'll just try to bring those points because a lot of things are written here. I just want to bring them, so that, it talks about many things. It's talking about personalism and impersonalism. So, so they say that, right, that Lord loves his enemies. So even if somebody goes with a feeling of impersonalism to the Lord, he doesn't really is angry about that. It's just that your bhava, right? You feel that the Lord is impersonalist finally. Some people think Krishna doesn't have akar. But but we know from the introduction of Bhagavatam, like how we have introduction of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna talks about 5 relationships with Krishna. So as an introduction of Bhagavatam, he beautifully writes about Krishna is form of formlessness, right? So we all know that in the form of Brahma Jyoti, Krishna's formlessness, which is present in the form of Brahman everywhere. So Krishna is supremely personal, but in the form of his Jyot, which is coming out of his body, spiritual body, he is formless. And that light which is coming out from Krishna is none other than Krishna himself. In fact, the sound vibrations in Kali Yuga, not only in the form of Jyoti, in the form of sound itself, Krishna is complete. That is why he is God, because in any of his form, he can exhibit his completeness. So Kali Kala Nam Rupe Krishna Avatara Nam Haite Haya Sarva Jagat Nishtara. In the Kali, he is available in the form of holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So whether you are a personalist or an impersonalist, it all depends upon how you are elevating yourself. If you are an impersonalist, like how Sukdev Goswami was, and then he became a personalist, and then he gave so much of Bhagavatam to us, right? And he narrated it to Sukdev Goswami narrated it to Parikshit Maharaj. So like this, you can move from impersonalism to personalism. In the end, personalism and Jyoti in the form of impersonalism is what Krishna is finally at. And then somebody can read this in the Brahmananda Purana. It is stated. We'll quickly, finish the course and then we'll just conclude. We have another 7-8 minutes.
Yeah, in the Brahmanda Purana.
Purana.
Yes, Prabhu. In the Brahmanda Purana, it is stated, those who have achieved liberation from material contamination and those who are demons and are killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead become absorbed in the Brahman concept of life and reside in the spiritual sky of the Brahma Jyoti. That spiritual sky is far beyond the material sky, and it is confirmed also in Bhagavad Gita that beyond this material sky, there is another eternal sky. The enemies and the impersonalists may be allowed to enter into this Brahman effulgence, but the devotees of Krishna are promoted all the way to the spiritual planets. Because the pure devotees have developed their spontaneous love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are allowed to enter into the spiritual planets to enjoy spiritual bliss in association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhu, should I read the next paragraph also? That will be the last paragraph.
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
In the 10th canto, 87th chapter, verse number 23 of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Vedas personified address the Lord in this way. My dear Lord, yogis meditate upon your localized feature and thus they achieve the spiritual perfection of being merged in the impersonal Brahmajyoti. Persons who treat you as an enemy achieve the same perfection without meditating. The gopis who are embraced by your serpentine hands and have such lusty attitudes also achieve the same perfection. And as far as we are concerned, being different demigods in charge with different parts of the Vedic knowledge, we are always following in the footsteps of the gopis. Thus, we hope to attain the same perfection. By the same perfection, we must always remember the example of the sun and the sunshine. Those who are impersonalists can merge into the sunshine like Brahma Jyoti, whereas those who are in love with the Supreme Person enter into the supreme abode of the Lord, Goloka Vrindavan. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu Dhanat Pranam. Mataji, you can stop sharing the screen. We'll just hear the explanation and then. Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dhanat Pranam.
So now you can see why in the summary of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which is written by Srila Prabhupada as Nectar of Devotion, why is he bringing? Suddenly he was talking about the bhakti, and suddenly he's talking about personalism and impersonalism. The reason behind is because that's where the marga differentiates. So the liberty of the soul is to decide whether he wants to continue to go back to Goloka or to merge into Brahman. You get both the opportunities. In fact, just 10 classes before I asked this question. I knew it, but I just wanted, sometimes, you know the answers, but you want to hear from a devotee who's more dedicated than you. He was a saffron devotee, and he said the same thing, that Krishna gives freedom for a soul to either merge in the Brahman or come back to Goluka. It was spot on. And he said, that is why we love Srila Prabhupada so much. Because he inspires all the souls to go and serve Krishna in Vrindavan. Hari Bol. Because he is asking us to continue focusing. It's a very difficult topic. Okay, I'm making this point here. But one day you have to go through this. It's like much essential thing to understand. Krishna gives you a choice. But you say, Tab vachanam karyasi. I will do as you say. He will just give you. The same thing happened with Arjuna. He gave Arjuna, if you fight, that's what I want. But do actually Arjuna wanted to fight? No, Arjuna never wanted to fight. Arjuna wanted to give up his bow and arrow and not fight, and just stick and give them the kingdom. I'll just take one drop of, 5 villages. But Krishna was clever. He went and took this proposal to Duryodhana and party and said, give 5 pieces of 5 villages to these brothers. And he didn't. He didn't give them. So then Arjuna and his brothers, it is Yudhishthira, the captain of the Pandavas, didn't have a choice. He was not ready to. He said, I will not even give them a needle piece of land where a needle is placed. That land also I will not give. Because they knew that Pandavas were righteous, and at the moment he gives 5 villages, the entire population of his kingdom will go and settle in those 5 villages, whether it's not possible. So later on, it's Khandaprast, and they gave them Khandap, barren land, and they created the Rajsuya Yagya was done. All this happened later on, right? And then the war was fought. So he wanted to have that beautiful palace of Khandaprast also, because he wanted to capture the entire kingdom. So even for the case of, in the Dwapar Yuga, where was the question left? People were struggling for Krishna. So like this, it is said that although nectar of devotion is just trying us for our level to stick to our sadhana bhakti and continue serving Krishna under the guidance of spiritual master. That is our sonam bonam. Many devotees, I have told you earlier also, they have passed away, and I have seen them completely following sadhana bhakti. At least in my current condition, I don't see an ability in myself or need for me to go beyond sadhana bhakti. This is what we have to understand. Anybody in this life, if they perfect their sadhana bhakti, then what we will understand the bhava and then the prema part of it. We don't have to jump from here to bhava and prema. It cannot be practically done. Practically, you can be only in the sadhana bhakti for now. It is towards the end of our life, maybe when we are on bedridden, maybe Krishna take you towards, the bhava side, and then the showcase you the prema side, and then takes you to the Goluka. So for now, I have seen all the Maharajas. You take any name of Maharajas, they were perfect in guiding us all on the sadhana bhakti. I have not heard any lecture in ISKCON who can tell us to move from bhava to prema in this life. I have never heard. If you have heard me, please show me. I want to hear this. But they all say, I have asked so many times to my seniors. And who are seniors? I am myself at a certain age. After some time, seniors also, they can't see, they can't come to the temple also. Then slowly everybody withers off in this life. But I am seeing only sadhana bhakti is where everybody is focused with. And we have to just continue enjoying this sadhana bhakti like a sadhyata, purifying our heart. And automatically there will be a lift in our consciousness towards the bhava and then towards the prema. Now, this question of whatever the Prabhuji was asking, I have not read that. I'm not answering that question now. You can come back to me. But if you want to know about the prema and the bhava and the prema bhakti, the next stage is level, I would say finish your life in sadhana bhakti and leave it to Krishna for us to be taken to another level. Rather than
means my question was regarding sadhana bhakti only. It is said that sadhana bhakti is performed in mode of goodness, mode of ignorance, and mode of passion. Means bhakti is also performed in these three modes, like mode of passion. Some perform in mode of passion, mode of based on the modes of material nature. Because now we are in mode of material nature, so bhakti is performed likewise. Is it true?
Yes. I mean, what's the harm? We are under three modes of material nature. The early in the morning, it is said, yes, finish your chanting early in the morning. Do Mangal Aarti in the morning. Don't make your Mangal Aarti at 8 o'clock. Make your Mangal Aarti at Brahma Muhurt. So that's what. So our bhakti, yes, that our bhakti is subjugated to time, is subjugated to the modes of material nature. Yes, the temple closed at 8:30. Although, if you notice, in Tirupati, the darshan keeps happening. Only 1.5 hours it stops in the dead of the night. Okay, so there is no morning and night for the Lord. Like Ekadashi, there is no Ekadashi for the Lord. It's for us because we are the sadhakas. Lord is not a sadhaka. Lord, we are doing bhakti of something which is beyond the modes. So it appears as if I can cross the modes and do bhakti. It doesn't work. So the Lord cannot be, we cannot approach the Lord beyond these modes. So Lord, we request Lord to come down so that we can love you. So with our agraha comes the vigraha. So he manifests the vigraha in our form, in the form of temples, in the form of statues in the temple. They are the vigraha with our agraha, because we cannot really exhibit love to Krishna beyond modes. So we say, come below the modes. So he takes the form of a vigraha, and the vigraha, and then temple, and then the society, and then the country, then the state is all the form of the Lord only. He is giving us a civilized environment. But it is all under modes. Does that answer your question?
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. Okay. No, that shlok was yam krodha kama means the body.
Virendra Prabhu, Haribol, I think the question has answered, Prabhu. So we understood also. Thank you for that wonderful question.
Yes, thank you.
So very beautiful, Prabhu. I mean, that was so awesome. By devotees agraha, the Lordship manifests as vigraha, right?
Yes.
So that we can perceive within our three modes of material nature the form of the Lord and serve Him. So that was so wonderful. So thank you, Virendra Prabhu. That was also a wonderful question. So and very beautifully answered by Premadatta Prabhu.
For asking that question, sorry. Okay, means that
no problem. Hare Krishna. No, it's a wonderful question, Prabhu, and it is a very beautiful answer. Premadatta Prabhu gave a very beautiful answer to it. But unfortunately, we will not be able to take any further questions. If any of you all have any further questions, please feel free to write in the WhatsApp group your questions, and then I'll share it with Premadatta Prabhu, and then Prabhu's answers can be reshared in the WhatsApp group. So we thank Premadatta Prabhu. Very, very wonderful session. We thank Krishnamurti Prabhu and all the devotees for joining in. All queries now will be taken in the WhatsApp group, Prabhu.
Mataji, only 1 second, Mataji. Only 1 second.
Yes, Prabhu.
I am grateful to Prabhuji first, because he has shown the level in which way we have to continue in the devotional service. That's why instead of imagining anything like that, this everything, instead of that, we are going on sadhana bhakti. Definitely we will get whatever may be the case. That is the left to the Supreme Lord. So I am grateful to Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna Mataji. Sorry Mataji.
Prabhu, please put your comment in the WhatsApp group. Please put your comment in the Nectar of Devotion group, because we want to encourage more and more devotees to join our sessions. Right? In Tamil, there is a saying, Yan Petra Inmam Periga Ivayagam, like that. So whatever pleasure we are deriving out of all these classes, we want to give it to others. So please share your feedback in the WhatsApp group. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu vyevacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
जय
गुरुदेव की जय। प्रेमदत्त गौर प्रभु की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Thank you.
Thank
So
you
we
so
meet
much.
you all tomorrow morning, 10:55 a.m. for our continuation of
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Thank
you,
you.
Prabhuji, for the
Thank you so much,
wonderful
Mataji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful session. Dandat pranam,
Thank you very
Prabhuji.
much. Dandavat pranam. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. I'm ending this session, Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
You can end the session.